Hello everyone, welcome back to Alette on Demand. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing sort of an Inside Out 2 analysis. I just watched Inside Out 2 like a couple days ago. I know I'm late guys, but it's better late than never. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing an orange hoodie, today we're going to be talking about anxiety. Isn't that so exciting? Like, let's talk about our emotions. Like, let's get all vulnerable, guys. Not too vulnerable, but let's get vulnerable, guys. And if you haven't watched Inside Out 2 yet, what are you doing? Go watch it. Like, it's such an amazing movie. Like, Pixar did their freaking thing. Like, Inside Out 2, it really causes you to, like, think deeply about yourself, you know? And I feel like this movie isn't just for kids because like Inside Out 2 causes you to like really self-reflect on yourself, and you know, I feel like it's a movie for everybody. Okay, let's dive into the storyline. So in Inside Out 2, Riley turns 13 years old. And when she hits 13 years old, that's when she hits puberty and all these new emotions come in, such as anxiety, envy, embarrassment, and my personal favorite, ennui. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but basically it's boredom in French. So the emotion that first appeared after Riley hit puberty was anxiety, hence the orange. And anxiety came in with so much baggage, like in the movie, which is important to note. Like, ironically, anxiety comes with so much baggage. So basically, anxiety came through and she was trying to kiss Joy's ass, talking about some, oh, I can get you a coffee, I can get you this, I can do this for you, I can finish these tasks for you, I can do that. Like, basically brown-nosing Joy.
Okay, how can I help? I can take notes, get coffee, manage your calendar, walk your dog, watch you sleep. Wow, you have a lot of energy.
And she was trying to be like her little intern or whatever. She was trying to be a backseat driver to Joy. She was like, oh, everybody has their own jobs. Like, all of these other emotions have their own jobs. And her job was to protect Riley from the unseen. Keep that in mind, guys. So in the movie, Riley is going to high school. And she's going to this hockey like summer camp with two of her best friends in order to like get picked for like their high school team. So then Riley ends up finding out that both of her best friends are not going to the same high school as her. And then that kicks in her sadness and her anxiety. So basically, Joy and anxiety are both like going back and forth, kind of like trying to like pull Riley this way, that way. Joy is trying to pull Riley towards the direction of like, oh, let's spend time with our friends before like we don't go to the same school anymore. And anxiety is like, no, let's hang out with the new cool kids because those are going to determine like the next 4 years of our life. So anxiety was basically like playing these scenarios in Riley's head, like, oh, you're going to be sitting alone at lunch, you're going to have no friends, she's basically trying to tell her like, oh, your high school years are going to be miserable because like if you don't go this path, which is picking the older girls and trying to befriend them and kiss up to them, then you won't have friends and your high school experience is going to be very miserable. And sidetrack, we see a hijabi in the Inside Out 2 movie. Like, you know, like representation, like hello? So basically, anxiety was trying to take Joy's spot, and she eventually did. She basically bottled up all her other emotions, anger, sadness, fear, disgust, and joy into a bottle and basically kicked him to the curb. And anxiety and all the other emotions were basically running Riley's mind. And anxiety threw away Riley's sense of self. Like, basically, there was like this whole like orb thing. I'm gonna show you on the screen if it isn't copyrighted. But basically, she was showing like this ball of like Riley's sense of self, like saying these affirmations. I'm a good person. I'm a good friend. Like, basically positive affirmations. And anxiety ripped that, replaced it with her own thing. And basically it was saying like, oh, I'm not good enough, etc. And then anxiety would tell Riley's mind like, oh, maybe she's just like trying to improve herself. We all know that's BS. And anxiety was like, oh, don't worry, like at least she knows that there's more room for self-improvement. And one quote that Joy said that stuck with me is, I just realized I had my septum piercings flipped up. Oh my god, let me flip it down. Because it kept freaking tickling the inside of my nose. I'm like, what's that? And I realized my septum piercing wasn't down. So, yeah. And one quote that Joy said that stuck with me is, maybe you experience less joy when you grow up. That hit home because as we get older, we tend to like feel less joy than we did during our childhood years. And that's the reality of it. So in 8th grade, I had this social studies teacher named Mr. Rowe. And he was such an amazing teacher. Like, if you're watching this, if you ever do watch this, you're an amazing teacher. I loved having you. So basically, I think we were doing a project on something, and I don't know what the project was on, but basically he said, do adults feel more hopeful about the future, or do they feel hopeless about the future? In 8th grade me, 13, 14-year-old me was like, they feel more hopeful about the future. He's like, no, they feel hopeless about the future. And I'm like, why would adults feel hopeless about the future? Like, that's what I'm thinking in my head, because I'm like, isn't that like a pessimistic way to view life? And now that I'm a little bit older, I'm only 18, guys, I realize what he meant by that. Like, I just saw the statistic, and it's basically saying 40% of adults are not happy with their personal lives. And I'm like, that is actually kind of scary, because any of us can fall into that 40%. The thing is, with life will manhandle the F out of you. Life will toss you around, will throw you around. Life isn't just so kind to people sometimes. But what I have to realize is that the world is your oyster. You can literally make it what you want it to be. Like, life is a tough beast, bro. Like, I know life isn't easy. Like, life is a tough beast. Like, this life isn't meant to be easy for us, but it's what we make out of this life. Like, for me, I want to make the most out of this life, and I want you to make the most out of your life too. If you have goals, if you have dreams, if you have ambitions, follow them. Follow them. So back to the movie. So during Riley's scrimmage, like her hockey scrimmage, the words "I'm not good enough" kept playing over and over and over in her mind until she had an anxiety attack. So basically in the movie, anxiety is like going everywhere around the table, like very fast, like light speed. And then eventually all the other emotions that anxiety tossed to the curb came back up, and they were just watching from the sidelines. They're like, we don't know what to do, like what's going on? And then Joy was like,
Anxiety, stop! You don't get to choose who Riley is. Anxiety, you need to let her go.
Anxiety, let her go. And then after that, anxiety fell back. It was like all dramatic and everything. And anxiety eventually let her go. And that was so powerful, because it's like Joy is telling anxiety, let her go. Like, if you watched the movie, you felt it. Like, the tears, you felt it. You felt it. So basically, I read a TikTok comment and someone said, why isn't fear and anxiety the same thing? And someone replied, they're like, anxiety is worrying about the things that do not matter, and fear is worrying about the things that do matter, that are right in front of you, like fight or flight type of thing. So the difference I noticed between anxiety and Joy is that Joy is worried about the now, like what's going on now, thinking about like nostalgia and stuff. Nostalgia is a whole different character. Like, she kept popping in and out, but that's a hint for Inside Out 3. I'm down to watch it. I'm ready for it. So, yeah, like I said, Joy is worried about the now, the present, and anxiety is worried about the future and these what-if situations and everything. The thing is, I want Joy to take the wheel on my life, and I want Joy to take the wheel on your life. Like, don't let these unnecessary thoughts, like doubting yourself, get to you. Like, don't let it get to you. So here are some things that Inside Out taught me, and I hope taught you. Healing doesn't mean get rid of or suppress your thoughts. Instead, connect with your thoughts and try to understand your thoughts so you can navigate your other emotions. Like, notice how in the movie, every emotion works together. Like, it's not like one emotion taking the wheel. Yeah, Joy took the wheel majority of Riley's life, but she listens to everyone else's input and tries to like work together with them. Another thing I learned from Inside Out 2 is not to demonize your emotions. Instead, realize that your emotions work together to make you who you are. Not all emotions are bad, like anger, sadness, fear, every other emotion besides
joy.
Fear. Not all emotions are bad, but instead it's how we use them. You know, we are allowed to have bad days. We're not going to feel happy 24/7. Like, one day we're going to feel fear. One day we're going to feel sadness. One day we're going to feel anger. Like, one day we're going to feel disgust. Like, we aren't meant to be happy 24/7. Like, that's not like a normal human preset. Like, we're going to have bad days, and it's okay. It is okay. That doesn't necessarily make you a bad person, or it doesn't necessarily label you. It's just something that we all experience. And another thing that I learned from Inside Out 2 is to keep in touch with my inner child. Our inner child's within each and every one of us. Like, our inner child loves bubbles, loves ice cream, loves glitter, loves all these things. Like, these things we may consider childish. And as we get older, we tend to forget to nurture that inner child within us. What I mean by inner child is, think about 8-year-old you. Think about 5-year-old you. What did 8 or 5-year-old you like to do? What did they like to eat? What did they like to watch? What did they like to do? Like, think about that. And keeping in touch with our inner child is very, 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 very important, because keeping that inner child alive within us brings more joy into our lives. And if you choose to ignore that inner child, not address that inner child's trauma, not basically keep in touch with that inner child, that stuff will manifest into your love life. It will manifest on how you parent your children. It'll manifest into how you treat your friends. And, you know, like, sometimes we have unresolved conflicts within ourselves, and we need to self-reflect and realize that you can't run away from your shadows. Like, you have to do that inner shadow work. And also, nostalgia kept popping in and out. Like, nostalgia in the movie was like some grandma, and she's like, oh, remember the good old days and all these other things. Like, they're hinting at it Inside Out 3. I'm down to watch it. I honestly can't wait. And honestly, Pixar did their freaking thing. Pixar did their thing. Like, that movie had me almost shedding tears. I'm like, this is getting a little too personal, because it's causing me to look at myself in the mirror. Like, what can I do to keep this inner child alive? What can I do to not let anxiety take the wheel on my life? Like, anxiety stops you from so many things. Anxiety stops you from the things that you want to do. But then you have to realize, I'm not my thoughts. I'm way more than that. I'm so much more than that. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought about this movie. If you watched it, if you haven't watched it yet, let me know in the comments down below. I really want to hear your thoughts about this. And don't let anxiety take over your life. Like, right now I'm 18. Other people around my age probably feeling like the sense of anxiety, because we just graduated high school. We're in the real world now. Like, it's getting real out here, okay? But we still got to remember to keep that joy in our lives. Connect with that inner child. Be your freaking self. Don't let these thoughts control you or shape who you think you are. Because you're so much more than that. You're so much more than your thoughts. You're so much more than that. And if nobody has ever told you this, I'm telling you right now, you're so much more than your thoughts. Don't let anxiety rule you. Don't let it take over you. Don't let it take the wheel. Let joy take the wheel. Let joy take the wheel, okay? Let her take the wheel. All right, guys. So I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys about my upload schedule. So I initially came in thinking I was going to upload every single week, which I'm trying, right? But the thing is, I don't want this to feel like a job. Like, I don't want it to feel like I have to do it, or I have to get up and I don't want it to feel like I have to do a quick rushed video for you guys every week and not give you guys the quality that you deserve. I don't want this podcast to feel like a job to me. And I don't want to give y'all half-ass content. Like, I'm trying to keep it authentic as possible. Like, I want people to connect with me, and I want this to feel like a safe space for those who feel like they need it. So in regards to my upload schedule, I will try my best to upload at least once a week. And if I don't upload every single week, I'll try to get at least 2 to 3 videos a month for y'all. And just know I have so much more content for you all. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. So yeah, in regards to my upload schedule, I'm going to try my best to be consistent weekly, if not weekly, bi-weekly. But yeah, and that's it. Also, make sure to share your thoughts down below about this movie. If you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend you to go watch it. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at AletteOnDemand and Vibe with Alette. Make sure to follow me on TikTok at AletteOnDemand, and add me to your podcast playlist. Go on Spotify, go on Apple Podcasts. Do it right now. I'm waiting. Go on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Add my show to your library. And yeah, make sure to give me a 5-star rating if you're listening to this. Come on, give me a 5-star rating. Come on, kindly leave a 5-star rating, because we're trying to grow the fam. And if you're watching this on video, comment and subscribe. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Bye.